Another day, another Android dogfight battle. How's it going, guys? I'm Aaron from PhoneDog.com, and I've got two hot phones in my hands, the HTC One X and the Motorola Droid Razr Max. They're both $199, and they both pack 4G LTE. This one on AT&T, this one on Verizon. Which one's the best? We'll find out, but first, some love to Best Buy Mobile for hooking us up with One X's, Droid Razr Maxes, and more for use in our One Paw Bandit game. When you walk into Best Buy Mobile to get either of these devices, you're not going to mess with rebates, waiting 8 to 10 weeks, paperwork, dealing with debit cards, all that garbage you won't deal with at Best Buy Mobile. Which one's the best? One X, Droid Razr Max? We'll find out in the dogfight, which starts right now. You got two more hot Android phones, and I know I say that all the time on video, but it's really true. I mean, these are both high-end, awesome Android phones, depending on what you use your device for. This is the HTC One X, very popular, been out for a couple of weeks on AT&T. Inventory's been constrained. It seems like it's loosening up a little bit, but it's still hard to find in select markets. It's available now for $199.99 at AT&T. Comes in a black or kind of gray color as well, in addition to the white, and it's packing a 1.5 gigahertz dual-core Qualcomm S4 CPU, a 4.7-inch HD 720p display, an 8-megapixel camera with 1080p HD video recording, and a bunch of goodies like image sense, burst mode, and more, which we'll talk about in part 2 of the review, or the dogfight rather. Front-facing camera, 1,800 milliamp hour non-removable battery, a polycarbonate shell, and a nice curved design as well, and a thin form factor. So a really nice device, something new from HTC, announced at Mobile World Congress, and it's making waves across the world, actually. Then you have the Motorola Droid Razr Max. This thing's been out for a little while on Verizon, but the real kicker here, it's got an awesome battery. Specs-wise, 1.2 gigahertz dual-core TI OMAP processor. It's packing a 4.3-inch Super AMOLED display. So you've got 540 by 960 pixels here. You've got Android 2.3 with Motorola's custom UI, 3,300 milliamp hour battery. That's gigantic, and you can see it really doesn't add a lot of bulk in comparison to the original Razr. Take a look at some of the comparisons I did when this thing came out between the original Razr and the Razr Max. Still very thin and light, but packs a huge battery that literally I have tried to kill and have been unable to kill in a day. I mean, it is an impressive battery life. If phone calls and text messages are your thing and you're not near a charger, this could be the perfect device for you. So Droid Razr Max here, got this bad boy over here, the HTC One X, packing Android 4.0 with HTC Sense version 4. Now, both of these come with some applications out of the box. Unfortunately, the HTC One X is one of the few AT&T devices where you can't uninstall the AT&T stuff in a lot of cases. The AT&T stuff is preloaded. You can't uninstall it, which is funny. They throw in a model there every now and again where you can't uninstall the apps, but recently AT&T's been pretty good about that. But out of the box, typical AT&T stuff, Family Map Navigator ready to go. You get Live TV, you get MOG Music, My AT&T, then you get YP Mobile, and then over here in Top HD Games. Over here, Verizon stuff, VCast apps, you get GoToMeeting, which is not necessarily a Verizon thing, but pre-installed on the device, MOG Music, and then some Motorola stuff, which is actually pretty useful, Moto Print, Moto Active, which you can use in conjunction with the Motorola Watch accessory that's available. Let's Golf 2. I do believe Let's Golf 2 is can be uninstalled, but the rest can't, so that's something to keep in mind. None of the Verizon stuff can be uninstalled. Verizon Video, VCast Tones, VZ Navigator, all that Verizon bloatware on the device, unable to be removed. Keep that in mind. That's a typical Verizon policy, whereas AT&T's is a little weird because usually they let you uninstall the stuff. So menu structure here, you've got your frequent and then your downloads as well over on this side. And then over here you can see all apps recent and downloaded in the Verizon Wireless specific applications with shortcuts to the market, or Google Play I should say now, and then shortcuts up here as well. So very similar in a lot of ways, despite the fact that this one's still on gingerbread, this one's on ice cream sandwich. Where you will notice it is in the fonts. Take a close look at the home screens of these respective devices, and I'll bring them into the camera so you can take a look. Have a look at the fonts, and we'll wait for it to focus in. Let's see if we can get those to focus in so you can take a look there. There you go, and you can see the font differences between Ice Cream Sandwich, which is what's on the One X, and then Gingerbread, which is what's on the Droid Razr Max. So you got your bar down here, your dock with your icons and your shortcuts, applications and applications. They both scroll to the side, which is something to keep in mind. And you have kind of a carousel effect there on the Droid Razr Max. So you have 7 home screens over on the One X, 5 home screens on the Motorola Droid Razr. That's right, you can't do that on the Droid Razr, my bad. With the carousel effect as well. So Motorola's user interface, a lot of love, a lot of hate for Motorola's user interface. A lot of people don't like it, due to the color hues. This device does have pen tile display, so that's something to keep in mind as well. So if you're not a fan of pen tile, this may not be the device for you. Obviously, the winner here is basically a Droid Razr with a big battery attached to the back with minimal heft. Down here, you get a couple of different things in this little folder, or in this little drawer. You get your micro SIM card slot, your micro SD card slot, and then over here, your power button and your volume rocker. Now, you'll notice over here, you don't get a micro SD card slot. You get 16 gigabytes in the 1X, and that's it. So when you want expansion, you got to go with another device or find another way to get your stuff off this device, because the expansion, the memory rather, the hard drive space is fixed. So micro USB charging port over on the left side, volume rocker over on the right side, and then up top on both of these devices, 3.5mm headphone jacks, and up top here you have an HDMI port and a micro USB charging port, micro SIM card slot right here on the HTC One X. So in terms of look and feel, and it's funny because as a reviewer you kind of have to pull yourself out of this. The One X, I actually prefer the Evo 4G LTE. The design of this, I just, for whatever reason, it just has not resonated with me, but I can understand this is an awesome design. It's just an awesome design that I don't care for personally in my day-to-day use. So it's an awesome design. The polycarbonate shell is really nice. So in terms of the winner of a design, it goes to the HTC One X. It's much better in the design department. Have a look at the messaging interface on both of these devices. We'll load up messaging on both, and then, hey, I won a free $1,000 Best Buy gift card. That's pretty exciting. And you can see up here, you got your little one shortcut when you receive, or a little one circle when you receive a new message. Over here, we'll load up text messaging on both. You get carrier or manufacturer installed keyboards, rather. HTC Sense keyboard, Motorola's multi-touch keyboard. Now in Gingerbread, you press and hold the compose message area to get to your additional keyboards. So this one out of the gate comes with Motorola's keyboard and swipe. I've also installed one of my favorite keyboards, the Ice Cream Sandwich keyboard, free. On Ice Cream Sandwich, the operating system, it's a little bit different. You have to go here and select input method, and then you can pick Ice Cream Sandwich keyboard, which I also have on this one, or then of course the HTC Sense keyboard also. So you got a couple of different options. Personally, between these two, you got a little bit of a bigger display over here, 4.7 inches, 4.3 inches, though I will say the Motorola multi-touch keyboard is one of the best in the industry. I'd have to rate it in terms of Android keyboards for me. Ice Cream Sandwich stock keyboard is number one. This is a close second. And then, I don't know what would be third, Swift key maybe? But this is a really impressive keyboard, so we'll say the Quick Brown Fox is happy to be alive and well. Quick Brown Fox is happy to be Alice and well, but you get the idea. Portrait to landscape transitions reasonably fast. You get a nice transition effect there on the Droid Razr Max. Same thing over here, relatively fast with a transition effect. So we'll say the Quick Brown Fox is, what's Quick Brown Fox ready for? Is, let's see, starving. Quick Brown Fox is starving, and then of course you have the ability to attach and send from there. You've got some arrow keys down here at the bottom. Another thing I want to point out as a result of Ice Cream Sandwich, please forgive me for clearing my throat. I've been a little bit under the weather, but down here you have back, you have home, and then you have recent applications. Now recent applications, excuse me, recent applications is something that's new on Ice Cream Sandwich, and it's a little bit different than the stock build that you remember from the Galaxy Nexus. Recent applications, I can come in here and see what I've used most recently and easily get rid of that stuff as I see fit. Over here you don't have that. You have menu, home, back, and then search. When this gets upgraded to Ice Cream Sandwich, the home button often acts as the recent applications. But you can see a settings shortcut up here as well, the notifications bar. And let's take a look at that just to show you some of the differences between Gingerbread and then Ice Cream Sandwich. So you can see some minor settings differences. You can see they're organized over here by wireless and networks, personal, and then more down here. So Motorola has done this for some time. HTC has just started to do this in Sense version 4. We'll come over here, for example, to this agenda widget, and I can come over here and resize this as much as I see fit, which is really nice. So I can press and hold. HTC's widgets are now customizable, and of course the Ice Cream Sandwich widgets have always been customizable. So you got a nice touch there, a nice benefit there. Now over here, you do have some customizable widgets as well. A lot of Motorola's widgets are customizable, although the stock Gingerbread ones are not. So for example, calendar, well, that's not a stock Gingerbread one, but let's take a look at Google search, clock, the stock Google clock, things like that are not customizable. What is customizable, date and time, for example. Come in here and move it around, and you can see that I can change the size of that, which actually didn't like that size, but we'll say that. I can change it like that if I want to. I can do a lot of changes to the sizing. That's really beneficial because you have 5 home screens over here, 7 home screens over here. You can kind of customize and make the widgets your own depending on how you see fit, and that's really nice. Now both of these are LTE devices, Verizon 4G LTE, AT&T 4G LTE. We'll run some speed tests later in part 2 of the video, but both have been pretty impressive in the speed department. That said, far more Verizon LTE markets than there are AT&T LTE markets. Just keep that in mind. If you do a lot of traveling, the Verizon option may be a little bit better for you. Let's say Phone Dog PhoneDog.com. And let's wait for that to load up. So PhoneDog's loading up over here, loading up on the Droid Razr Max as well. Pinch to zoom responsiveness has been very good on both of these devices. That Snapdragon S4 processor performs incredibly well over here. And you have your menu options up top, along with the ability to access different tabs. So very quick and very easy there. Same thing over here, very responsive for the most part. 1.2 gigahertz dual-core TI OMAP processor, performing relatively well. And then to go to your different windows, you can just press and hold the menu button, although you don't get necessarily the nice animation that you get over here. Both are pretty impressive in the browser department. Slight edge goes to the HTC One X, though, when it comes to doing web browsing, thanks to the larger display and to the faster pinch to zoom performance.